Welcome back to another video, and today I will be showing the top products that I tried during 2023, and this will include all other makeup products excluding eyeshadow palettes that I have done separate rankings with. But let's get to the video and products itself. Wow, so another video I'm doing pre-filming, so I have now actually filmed before this my indie eyeshadow palette ranking, which was quite a long video to film, and I'm always dreading the editing of it. But anyway, so while I like to make eyeshadow palette content on my channel, because those are my sort of favorite makeup products, I did want to sort of make a video about rest of this sort of like products that makeup products that I have been liking this year, and these are again products that I tried for the first time this year, so it could be that the products were actually launched in previous years, but I tried them first time this year. But there are actually also quite a lot of products that did also come out this year. And I will be going through lip products, then there will be some cheek products, and lastly some base products to the face. Okay, so lippies, there is quite a lot. Let's start with these ones. So, if you watch my lip product declutter, you probably aren't surprised. So these are the W7 sharpenable lip pencils. So mine are quite, well, obviously you probably can see why these are sort of favorites. So W7 is a very inexpensive drugstore brand that is available in here. The brand is in UK based brand. They do quite a lot of new products, but they do actually have some also like original products in their line. And why I wanted to include this is that purely because how inexpensive these are and how good the quality of these are. So these are very like easy gliding basic lip liners. They have quite they like have 5 shades of these, and I think I own like 3 or yes, I think 3 shades. 1 shade is in my drawer somewhere. But I just think that in terms of, you can't really beat the price and how easy these are to use, and there's quite a lot of products in these. Mine are quite already used, and especially this one is getting quite short already. But when you buy the pencils, there's quite a lot of product there. So even if you use these daily, they will last you a long time. If you're looking for very long-lasting lip liner, these, because they are creamy, they won't last obviously the whole day. However, I think for a drugstore, and if you're looking very easy to apply lip liner, these are something that I think have been like a very positive and surprising find from the drugstore this year. I'll go through some lip glosses or gloss type of products. So first one is this one. So this is the Catrice Marble-Licious. I believe this is technically a lip balm, yes. So this is a lip balm, but I treat these as glosses. And why I wanted to show this in this video is that this feels so comfortable on the lips. So this has a bit of a cooling effect to it, but it's not anything uncomfortable that will like make your lips tingly or anything. It just has a very nice cooling effect, and the way I feel the hydration this brings is just very nice. And these you get a bit of a color. These aren't like super opaque because they are sort of more of a lip balm, but you do get some color if you buy these sort of darker shades. And I do believe the brand has altogether maybe, I think there's 5 or 6 shades they have within this line. But yeah, very, I say, comfortable and a good find if you're looking for a sort of drugstore option for a lip balm, and Catrice is something that is available to you. Next one, let's go to Oden's Eye from Indie. So this is the lip gloss they released this year, and this first from their Angelica collaboration. Unfortunately, I think that these are limited edition because these are an influencer collab, which is very unfortunate. However, I really hope that Oden's Eye will come out with more glosses now that they tried this, because in the Angelica Halloween collection they had 2. They had this one which had more color in them, you can see it on the back of my hand, and then there was a more of a clear gloss. So I hope that they will be continuing with these ones and sort of bring them to a permanent line, because I do think the gloss formula was very comfortable and it was very easy to use. Next, I think that if you have been watching any of my videos lately, these aren't going to be a surprise. So these are the Kiko Milano 3D glosses, and I'm like, I think I already mentioned this in the makeup news tag video. Why aren't people like talking about these? Because I think these are are just good glosses, and not just good glosses for drugstore, but just all together. Like, I have had higher end glosses that don't haven't impressed me this much. I have had other drugstore glosses that I do like, but these are just, they are so smooth, but there's a lot of sparkle and a lot of impact, but you don't get any sort of glitter particles on your lips. There's just like this very amazing shine these have, and they are so comfortable to use, and they are very still impactful. If you don't like a super shiny gloss, then obviously I wouldn't recommend this, but if you really like the really like a shiny gloss, something like a Fenty Gloss Bomb, then I would definitely maybe look at these, because while Kiko Milano is on the higher end price in terms of like drugstore, it is still like they are more inexpensive than a lot of, for example, higher end glosses. And yeah, they have a lot of shade options for these. I have 3 of these, one of them is somewhere in my makeup box, but yeah. Another very good drugstore recommendation altogether from makeup products that I tried this year. Next one is the only sort of traditional lipstick that I have, and I think this just shows because I did check, I do keep a makeup budget of products that I have bought into my collection, and there was quite a lot of stuff, and considering that there isn't particularly a lot of products in this video altogether, and it just shows that while I have been trying and buying a lot of stuff, and then there's a lot of stuff that I haven't even opened yet, which is completely another issue. But anyway, I have bought some lipsticks. Some of them have been in formulas that I have tried before, so I don't think I will be even... I will have to see if I would include them in a similar video to this one, because if it's just a shade extension from a formula, I don't think it's like anything super new to talk about. But anyway, a lipstick formula that was new to me and what has also gotten quite a lot of praises is this one. So this is the sort of stylo lipstick from MUA Makeup Academy, which is another UK-based drugstore brand and very inexpensive, and something that is available for me here, at least in our one of our local supermarket chains. And this is a lipstick that I have gotten quite a lot of. I bought this spring and I have used this quite a lot, and this is a lipstick that I have had people asking what I'm wearing in my lips. So this is obviously a more, how should I say, this is a satin formula, and this is obviously a lipstick formula that you will have to reapply during the daytime if you eat or drink or anything. But I think this is, the formula of it is very, the formula, it doesn't like feel a drugstore formula, and I do think that, yeah, the packaging of this is very sort of light, cheap plastic packaging, but actually the stylo still looks quite, from the outside, and if there's someone like looking at this, it doesn't like look exactly a drugstore lipstick. It's just until you lift it that you feel that, oh yeah, it's something bit more inexpensive. But in terms of formula and the shade range that these have, I think this is something that I would recommend just generally if you're looking for good sort of traditional lipstick products, but also if you're looking particularly good products from the drugstore. And they also do have a matte formulation of this in sort of traditional lipstick bullet. I haven't tried that one, but if you're looking for a good satin lipstick, and if you like this sort of slimmer lipstick formula, this is another like product recommendation from this year. Next, I will be showing the cheek products, and as I said previously, there's an Excel that I keep because I want to know how much I'm buying and what I'm buying, and when have I gotten the products. That also helps me keep track that if something is gonna expire and so on. And it's gonna probably surprise that, considering that like I have bought a lot of cheek products, and you have seen in the roundup preview videos that I have done, I haven't been able to do a super lot of them because fall was quite busy for me in terms of work. But I have tried a lot of, for example, blushes, and there's only like one blush that is included in this, and I have like seen that blushes that I bought, there's also quite a lot of that I haven't even opened them, and that itself tells that I will like admit, in terms of blush, there's I think definitely something that I will have to like very much rein in next year and actually try now all the unopened blush products that I have and see which ones are in terms of formulation something that I want to keep and which one I will like get rid of, because the amount of blush, it has been absurd. But this was the year of blush, especially because of the Barbie trend. The trend really saw a lot of these pink blushes coming out. But the blush formula, let's start. There are also 2 other cheek products. So the blush formula that I will feature is this one. So again, if you have watched any of my other videos, it probably isn't surprising. So these are the Makeup Revolution Mousse blushes, and why I felt that this was a formula that I wanted to sort of Why I wanted to sort of promote is that I don't have a super lot of these potted blush formulas. There is one I have from Glam Shop, which is a Polish brand, but I think what made this definitely unique was that how much like pigment this sort of packs. So this is one of like the sort of few cream blushes that actually these will dry down matte, and these will last longer than most of the powder blushes that I have. So I'd say that if you are looking for long lasting and something that is easy to work with, I can use this applying my fingers, and I don't really like to use my cheek, usually apply my cheek product with my fingers. However, this is a formula that applies well with your fingers, but also if you have this sort of denser blush brush. With a sponge, if you want to get this, because these will pack quite a punch, so if you don't like a super opaque blush, then don't buy these. But if you want to keep the opaqueness, then a sponge is something that I would not recommend with these ones. But if you use a denser blush brush or your fingers, then these are very good, and something that you will definitely have the color showing up. And like I said, also something else that made really positively surprised me with these was the longevity of these. So these will really last you, even though you would have this sort of you would put your makeup on at 7 and 8, and when you still get home and wash your makeup on the evening around 9, these will still be on your cheek, so these won't fade away anywhere. And the next sort of cheek product that I tried this year and I wanted to put sort of as a yearly recommendation was this one. So if you watch my cheek product declutter, you know that I wasn't a fan of the Fenty blushes, but and again, this isn't a product that was released this year, however I tried that first time this year. But for me, the Fenty Cream Contour, this is again a sort of formula that, first of all, the tone of this is perfect for me. So this is in the shade 01 Ember, and this is the perfect sort of cool tone contour shade for me and for my sort of rosy cool skin tone that I have. And I definitely like, what I like about this one is again that what I have now found out that I like to apply my cream contour with a brush actually, which is something that I used to apply cream contour with a sponge, but I have actually now found that with a brush I get the best result. And this is a formula that again, you can actually also use a sponge with this one. I do think that with a sponge you also got quite a good result, but I felt that, for example, also with the brush you get this sort of very nice layer of this, and the undertone and how this blends is very good. And I do feel that unlike with the green blush from Fenty, which I said that it's ridiculous how little amount of product you get, with this one I do feel that you get enough product considering that this Fenty is a more expensive brand. But if you haven't tried Fenty cream bronzers before, I think these ones are something that I would recommend for trying out from the brand if you're someone who likes your cream contour. And this is again another drugstore one. So this is the MUA highlighter, and I haven't actually been buying that many new highlighters this year. It could be that I think I also went through the phase, I think that all of us went, that we had this phase where we wanted these super blinding highlighters that had these sort of crazy shifts to them. However, I think that I have now concluded that highlighter for me, nice basic champagne highlighter that doesn't have glitter particles, because I'm now someone who's in their 30s. So if there's super a lot of glitter particles within the formula, it doesn't really go well with the texture of my skin. However, this sort of like a shiny smooth highlighter is definitely something that I do still enjoy. And I do actually, I'm a person who does like my highlighters show up, so I'm also not a person who likes a super subtle highlighter. But I think that these MUA, I took the cap off. I did mention in some other video that one downside of these is that because the MUA is again a very inexpensive drugstore brand, the packaging is quite cheap, and the cap of here is it's like loose. I have to be very careful when I move this around. But anyway, I think what makes this is that it's very it's this nice baked formula, and it's just very smooth. There is actually a bit of a shift to this, and they have quite a few. They have some of them that don't shift, and then they have some that do have a bit of a shift. So I do think that if you have been looking for some indie highlighters that have a bit of a shift to them, but those are too expensive or difficult to get to you, then you might actually see some of these MUA, some of the shades that the MUA has in these highlighters, because you could get quite a similar result with this one with less money and something that might be more easily accessible to you. but very sort of beautiful baked formula at a very affordable price point. And this is again something that I have taken to my, I have traveled with this one, and this is something when I want something like very special for my highlighter. This is definitely a highlighter that I do like to dig out. But yeah, those were all the sort of cheek products that I had to recommend. So again, considering how much I did buy cheek products this year, there wasn't actually quite a lot, but I think that also shows that a lot of products that I tried, they were just kind of meh. I didn't feel that they were deserved to be included in sort of a yearly top sort of product ranking. And I think actually in between, before we go to the base, I will mention the only one mascara that I want to mention in in this video. I don't have this mascara any longer, however, it is mascara that I tried during the fall. So the Maybelline Falsies Surreal Extensions mascara that I have already also spoken quite highly about before. And why that sort of, as I mentioned, the Essence/Princess is my sort of ultimate favorite mascara because it offers length, it offers separation, it offers volume. However, what makes me want to mention the Maybelline mascara is that especially if you're looking for a good volumizing mascara from the drugstore, I feel that the Maybelline one is it's a very solid mascara for that, and also because it's not priced. Because for me, mascara is definitely one of those products that unless a higher end mascara really makes offers something spectacular, I really don't want to put my money on higher end mascaras, because at the drugstore I do feel that there is actually quite a lot of good options. But yeah, I wanted to mention the Maybelline mascara in between this one because it was sort of the only mascara this year. Also, I did try a couple of few mascaras this year aside from the Maybelline one. However, I was quite disappointed in those, so definitely again another reason why I felt that the Maybelline extension mascara should be included in this one. The only downside I mentioned during while I think I reviewed the mascara in my monthly review video was that the mascara claims to be waterproof. However, on my use I felt that it really didn't actually last that well if there was some water, water contact made your eyes. So that is perhaps the only downside to the mascara, but if we take the waterproof claim out, I do think that it is a very good option if you're looking for this sort of volumizing mascara from the drugstore, and altogether just generally from mascaras that were sort of I tried this year. And last category of this video are base products, and there is quite a lot of products here that I don't actually have the products, because base products are products that I don't collect. It's a product category that I don't like to put my money on, but of course a good base makes the rest of your makeup look beautiful, so it is definitely still something that I do feel is quite important, and I do put quite a lot of consideration when I sort of buy my concealers and foundations and the primers. However, let's go to the primers. So there's only one primer, and this is actually one that I do have already a new like a full bottle of, so it's this one. So this is the Essence, I believe this is called Poreless Partner Primer, and this is my second tube this year. So this is duping one of the Benefit primers. However, having tried the Benefit primer in a mini and then having tried this one, buy this one and not the Benefit one. So I think this is, first of all, this is much more less expensive than the Benefit one, but also I just believe that the result, so this is it doesn't feel super silicone-y on your skin, because a lot of the smoothing primers, they kind of feel that they're quite silicone and even a bit gummy. This doesn't have that effect, and this actually feels like nicely, it gives a bit of hydration when you first apply it to your skin. And this is something that I just think that made my foundation and the rest of my base product, they sort of blended in with this one very well, and it made my skin just look so smooth, and so sort of made the blend of my foundation and concealer very effortless. So if Essence is a brand that's easily available to you and you're looking for a good smoothing primer, then this is definitely a recommendation from this year. And also the fact that this doesn't feel like if this sort of this doesn't peel or anything, because with some silicone primers, for example, that claim to be smoothing, I had the issue that those actually make my makeup and foundation peel up. So this doesn't have any of those issues. This really sinks into your skin and smooths everything nicely. Then I think we will talk about concealers. So I have one concealer that I have because it's still on my use, and then there are a few concealers here that I will have to actually look at my notes that I no longer have, but I wanted to mention. So the concealer that I have, and again, another surprise, is this one. So from high-end concealers, and I don't try a lot of high-end concealers because I do have to buy concealer relatively often, but I really don't like paying much money for it. However, this is a high-end concealer that I believe is worth the money. So this is the Natasha Denona HY-Glam concealer, and this is just it. It offers coverage, but it's not like, because I tried Natasha Denona's previous concealer formula and that was just awful. Like once you got it on under your, like on your skin, you really couldn't, like, it just stuck to the spot and it was very hard to blend. It looked very dry. This offers nice coverage, but it doesn't like dry out your under eyes, and just I think that the formula of this is, it feels very nice. It doesn't feel like cakey. And you can use this with or without powder. I of course powder my skin because I do have a bit of an oilier, like my skin is combo skin that's leaning a bit oily. However, I do believe this is a concealer that if you have drier skin, you could use this without putting a powder on. And it also, like, the powder doesn't make it look super cakey, because I know with some concealers they can look very nice without a powder, but if you put a powder on them, it can ruin the effect. So a recommendation from the sort of higher end side of the brands. And next one, I actually now have to look the name from my notes, because this one is yeah. So this is the Catrice True Skin High Coverage Concealer. I will pop a picture on the screen. So from the drugstore, I think this was definitely one of the better ones I tried this year. I did like the effect. This was a bit more of a glowy concealer, but I do believe I tried this at springtime when I do want my makeup to, like, late spring when we're going to summer, and I do want my sort of makeup to look a bit lighter. And for me, this is definitely like a warm month concealer. And Catrice, definitely, I think they are like very good at their base products in terms of drugstore. I have also liked the one of the concealers that I know was quite popular on YouTube, I think a year ago. And I think that the concealer that I tried from them also continues this sort of very good success with their base products. So another like sort of recommendation from the drugstore side of things, especially if you're looking for more glowier and sort of more, I wouldn't say natural, because it did offer quite a lot of coverage, but it wasn't sort of this very heavy traditional matte concealer. And the last concealer was actually the Sephora Collections concealer. So this was the sort of glowier. Again, I will pop up a picture because I obviously have used the product up and already thrown the packaging to the trash. So this was the sort of Sephora Collections concealer, and I think I mentioned in my fall sort of review video that this is probably one of the best in terms of color match of concealer that I had. And Sephora has quite a lot of, because this is still available, it's I think in their sort of permanent line. This is like has quite a lot of like quite a wide shade range with a lot of undertones to it. So the shade I think I used was 22, and it was for cooler sort of rosy undertone. And again, I think this was the perfect, because I got this during the summer and I used this sort of end of the summer, beginning of the fall time. And what, again, just like the Catrice concealer I mentioned, is that it really fitted with the whole sort of summer makeup where I want something a bit more lighter. And this is a concealer, I think that, again, because I do have to use powder, the powder didn't like ruin the concealer. And this is a concealer that, again, I think you could also use without a powder. And because Sephora Collections is Sephora's own brand, it's not like horribly expensive compared to some other things, for example like the Natasha Denona concealer that I featured. So compared to that one, the concealer was quite affordable, and I do think that the tube lasted quite long. So that was the last concealer recommendations from this year. Lastly, I will be discussing some foundations. So both of these foundations I no longer have, so you will be seeing some pictures. And first let's start with well, I think we're quite even because there's a drugstore options and then there's the high-end option. So the drugstore options, again, I don't remember their full name. Yeah, so Skin Fresh foundations from W7, and this is I think this is something that has been like the most surprising foundations, how beautiful this actually looked like. So this was a sort of, I think they did advertise this maybe that it would be a sort of glowy foundation. However, I actually think that it's a more sort of a demi-matte demi-matte foundations, which made it actually perfect for my particular skin type, which is sort of combo leaning towards oily. So I felt that this foundation, it offered like this sort of medium coverage, but it didn't look too cakey. The lasting power of it was particularly impressive, considering that it still wasn't, because it wasn't this sort of full-on heavy matte foundation, but it was sort of like medium coverage, demi-matte finish, and it still lasted like a whole day. I used the foundation during the like warmest summer months when there is well, not warmest because I was using it during May, June time, but for example already on June there were quite a lot of warmer days and it still like lasted quite well despite the heat. And again, it's something that played really well because, like I said, I do have to powder my skin. It looks beautiful with the powder. And definitely something that I was very impressed with. However, the issue is that W7, there is a certain amount of like permanent line of products that we are able to get from them. However, this particular foundation is something that is it was available during the beginning of the summer, then I didn't see it on any of the stores that sell W7, and then I saw it once sold that they stocked it during the like end of the fall time, and now when I recently visited the store that here sells W7, I haven't been able to again find the foundation. So I think especially because with base products we sort of want them to be more staple ones, because I know people don't want to change those as often that they want to perhaps change eyeshadows or cheek products or lip products. So I think the issue with this foundation definitely is that at least for me the availability of it is there's quite a lot of variations, and I don't know exactly what W7's policy generally is, because they are this sort of like a drugstore brand and they do like seem to have quite a lot of limited edition products. So I don't exactly know, is the foundation gonna be something that it's for example gonna be available still next year, or are they gonna come out with something else? But if you are able to find this foundation and you particularly have a similar skin type to mine, I think you would enjoy it very much. And for a drugstore option, I think with the price of it, you really can't, there isn't very much to lose. Then the sort of more higher end option. So this is the Lancome Teint Idol foundation, and I don't know was this the reformulated version, because Lancome I think reformulated like all of their base products this year, and now they have been coming out with new concealers and everything. So I don't know which formula was it that I tried, but again, this was something that, first of all, like why I felt that this was the few higher end foundations that I would put my money on was that despite it being on the expensive side, I actually didn't need a lot of foundation to get the coverage. So this is the sort of more medium to higher coverage foundation with a demi-matte finish of it. But I didn't need too much of the foundation, so that one bottle lasted quite long for me in my use. And this is one of those foundations that I could trust that will last me through the whole day. Even when my oils began to like come through, it didn't start to look like super oily or like I had some sort of like shine on my skin. So it was I'd say the durability of the foundation was definitely also something that made it worth for me. And like I said, because I'm now a bit unsure, because I do know that, well, because Lancome has been reformulating, some people haven't liked the reformulation, some have said that they are just as good as the old ones, but at least the foundation that I tried, and if this is the newer formula, then I would recommend it again, because I think that if you want to splurge and put the money into a higher end foundation, then this definitely like filled in the sort of like criteria for me, which is that it lasts long, it offers this sort of finish that it made my skin look was very smooth, and it offered the coverage that I wanted. It lasted the whole day, and also the plus side was that generally the bottle lasted quite long, because I didn't need to apply a lot of it on my skin to get the coverage I wanted. And Lancome has a quite wide shade range available, and it is one of the higher end brands that is generally easily available in a lot of department stores. So you are able to, with higher end foundations, I would always rather go to store, unless it's a rebuy that you're doing. But if you're trying a new shade, I would definitely go to the store, because the only issue I had is that I got it from the store, but I didn't ask the sort of consultant to shade match me, because the shade I got, unfortunately, it was a bit too yellow tone for me. I was able to fix that with the powder, but because I know I would have had the opportunity to sort of shade match myself, I will not hold it against the foundation that it sort of made me look yellow, because I had the possibility to sort of try that out. So just something that I learned, that just shade match yourself, because with higher end foundation there is the options that you can shade match, but definitely, like I said, Lancome has because they have a wide shade range, so most likely you would be able to find your own shades with this one. But anyway, that was the last product of this video. So we're at the end. So those were my sort of other than eyeshadow palette related makeup recommendations for this year. Comment down below what have been sort of your favorite other makeup products that you have been using for the first time and you have been loving this year. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from my future content. You can also find me on Instagram with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, and I hope I will be seeing you in another video soon. Bye bye!